Yeah.
Bonjour, everyone.
Bonjour.
No, you spoiled the freeze frame there, Amber, because you went. Ah.
Oh.
So listen, right, we've got to kick it off, and I don't know if who has seen what, but the two big bombs, one of which I'm really disappointed about.
What, Barbie?
Not yet. I can never be.
If you guys are serious about Barbie, I will go see it this next week.
I'm not sure if I'm going to place myself in a cinema watching Margot Robbie in her little pink dress. Well, I will catch up with it at some point. That's what I'm going to say. We won't go there. Other than that, we won't go there. There's a certain audience that I think they had in mind when they made that film. I'm there, but I ain't going to go to the cinema and see that. It is going to be all that aside, it's going to be a load of old crap in it. So, but the one I was disappointed, I'm disappointed that it bombed, is The Flash.
Yeah, I'm disappointed.
And the other one that's obviously bombing is Indy 5. So
yeah, that's hilarious.
Has anyone seen either of them?
No.
Flash I've seen Indy 5, but I know some stuff that happens in it, which is just absolutely hilarious.
So really, we're just going on. We're just going on the fact that they've been so. Why haven't we been so? So a question for you, lot. In years gone by, a massive summer blockbuster tentpole film like that, would we have all been? I'm not saying we all would go rushing there, but I can literally feel the kind of like the just.
Well, it hasn't had the best build-up, has it? Like it hasn't had the best build-up. Indy 5, all the issues that have been publicised, then you hear like the reviews and all that sort of stuff. Plus, the track record of Disney. You're not going to have faith in it. I mean, it's made 159 million worldwide. Yeah, it's one of the most expensive films ever.
Yeah, wasn't it? It's opening. Was it a 5-day weekend they did? July 4th weekend, 5 or 4 day, and it was like 84 million or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, the funniest thing is, on July 5th, it made 5 million worldwide, which 5 million to all us is 5 million is amazing, but 5 million for that level of film, you should be expecting 20, 25, maybe even 30 million. And that film that it got outdone by on the box office, that used to be Disney's. Disney had it on the shelf for ages. The Sound of Freedom. Yeah. They had it on the shelf for ages. Another company took it over and they've released it. And on that's the day that Indy made 5 million, that made 18.
Yeah. So that's a small company. Those are more of a conservative group that have put that out. I was going to mention that, Lizard, but I wasn't remembering the name. So that's it. And yeah, it outperformed Indy Jones, right? I mean, from a major studio, and we have an independent and a conservative group included that were able to outdo a major studio. So I think that shows that things are shifting, that people are willing to go see good story above, Indy is, a classic series and is from a classic studio, but I think audiences are just not comfortable anymore with just accepting that Disney or Lucasfilm or whoever is going to put out something good, and they're going to go for these other ones that they know are going to be focused on the story. I think we're going to start seeing more and more of this.
Go on, Amber.
Oh, I was just going to say the studio, Angel Studio, is the same one that produced and put out The Chosen. It was the story of Jesus and his disciples, and they're the ones that did that thing where you get an app and it only streams the one show. So I think they've figured something out. Their marketing is brilliant. The previews for the movie that just came out, The Sound of Freedom, which I've been excited about for years because I know the story of the guy, the real life story of the guy who did it, but it's all over Twitter. It's all over Instagram, like everywhere. So they've got a bang up marketing team that is doing an excellent job.
What is the story? I don't know much about it. I just know the title and I know that it outperformed, I know the figures and it outperformed Indy, but I don't actually know much about it.
Okay, so it's the true story of a guy who, I think he was in the FBI or the CIA. Do you know, Randy? I think it was FBI.
No, I just know
Okay.
it has to do with
Child trafficking. Yeah. So it's a true story about a guy who worked for the FBI, and his job was capturing pedophiles and child traffickers. But he started getting frustrated because he would catch the bad guy, but the kids were still out there being sold over and over and over again. He's like, a kid could be sold like a dozen times in a day. And so he was approached by a little boy who said, my sister is still out there. And he decided, I'm going to go on this mission to save that little girl. Rather than going and getting the bad guy, I'm just going to save the girl. And he started this huge foundation where that's what they do. They're not about, well, they are about catching the bad guys too, but their primary focus is getting the kids out of slavery. And it's usually sex slavery. So it's pretty horrific.
That really come through in the trailer as well, because I clicked on the trailer today because I thought, well, we're going to be talking about it because it's, you know, hurrah for them, really. But everything, and we've spoken about trailers in the past, and you know, does that make? But what an awesome trailer! Everything you said, Amber, about describing what the story is, and it was only Cavaziel, whatever you pronounce his name, and the story that's unraveling around him, and about the fact that, you know, the drug dealers can only sell one load of drugs once. Arms smugglers can only sell one load of guns once. These child traffickers are selling them multiple times, like they're changing hands, and there's something. I think it's just human nature that you're attracted to those kind of stories, especially when they say this is based on a true story.
Yeah.
But fair play to them. But the larger picture with the Flash, you could say superhero fatigue as definitely 100% kicked in, and I think
it didn't deserve that box office flop that it got. It deserved more than that.
How was that seeped into Indiana Jones? Because all right, it's all daring do, but he's not exactly a superhero, is he? There's no capes. It's just him. Everyone around him is usually normal. I know we've got old Fleabag now, and she's super duper and the best is ever. But you know, she's probably the new Supergirl. But other than that, the perception, the public's perception, I don't get how it's bombed so hard. And I know, Amber, you just said about the marketing of
Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom in a really modern way. I know that in a really old-fashioned way, all of the usual suspects are, or were, certainly in the UK, promoting the premiere of Indy. And it was everywhere. It was in the newspapers, reviews in the newspapers. You'd be watching your little local news channel, whatever it is, and it'd say, "Yay, the London premiere's on," and all that. It hasn't worked, has it?
I have a theory, though. So I think there's a lot of loss of faith. People who, I mean, think about what Indy 4 was. People hated it. Nobody's going to go to the theater to see Indy 5 unless they hear that other people have seen it and say that it's great. And if everybody is doing that, nobody is going to see it.
Yeah. And
everybody shit on it.
And it's part of, I also think it's part of a cumulative effect where we've been continually okay, but even all the shields are worn out now. When these films come out, particularly the Marvel ones, even they are worn out now. Even Indiana Jones 5 with the big thing in Cannes and all that, they still weren't getting all the usual suspects. Even they weren't saying, "Oh my God, yes, you know,
you can't really defend it."
No, yeah, they can't. Everyone
can't defend it. I mean,
shit.
I mean, the bits of the story that I know is that he's an old depressed man. They go back to 212 BC and meet Archimedes, who created the Dial of Destiny. But he created the Dial of Destiny so people can only come back to 212 BC to meet him and have a chat.
Yeah, it sounds like Scooby-Doo.
So he creates a time machine.
Archimedes, really?
Yeah. So he creates a time machine that will only allow people from the
Come
future
back.
to come back and meet him to have a chat. Like, what the hell?
That could be
And they're going to have a
interesting.
mummy of Archimedes running around and going, oh.
You know,
Is that
it's done
supposed to
right.
explain his
That could have been
ideas?
a great premise.
Yeah, well, apparently he gets a watch. So when they find his corpse early in the movie, he's got a modern day watch on him.
Ooh.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally, you pesky kids.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Okay,
it's
so you know
shocking,
what
isn't
that reminds me? What Liz described, a depressed old man. That's the Last Jedi, right?
Yeah.
All right, and it
Yeah.
didn't work. Why would they think that going that same route's going to work? We don't want to see our iconic heroes to be depressed old men
Well,
who
it's
are
the same.
grumpy and then
Well-
they're not like the characters we know.
Well,
We
it's the
want
same-
Maverick.
Yeah, well, it's the same with Harrison Ford in Force Awakens. He's gone back to his old ways. He's departed from Leia. His son's gone evil. They just murder him. So they've done him twice now, Harrison Ford.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Wow, his two most iconic characters they have destroyed, Indy and Han Solo. What the hell?
We just can't
Yeah.
have it now. We just can't have it, and I think that's seeped in as well. People do want to see the Mavericks, whether or not that's a throwaway popcorn film or not. It kind of does show that people want to see it, or I think you can get away with that old worn out hero if you introduce him down on his luck.
Yeah.
And the story,
And then building back up.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Tayters. You know, the story is him going, da-da, and at the end of it, it's like, yeah, he's back. You know, he's whatever it is, he's escaped and he's victorious, and but not just being replaced.
Mm.
You know, like that last James Bond film.
I knew you was going to say that. I knew.
Last James Bond, I can't get over it. The fact that you're watching it and you think, why have I come to watch this film? I don't want to see a character piece about a guy who used to be all right, who now we have now been introduced to his family, his daughter. Okay. And now he's depressed and now he's committing suicide. Oh, that's brilliant. That is absolutely fantastic. That is everything I want to see a James Bond film. That's the reason I want to get that advance ticket. But and old Fleabag's fingerprints are all over that as well. This is the other bit I don't get.
Well, have they still gone down that route then? Because I know, obviously, when they did the first version, that was the way it was going, and it tested really poorly, like really poorly. So they rewrote it. I thought they were doing Fleabag as the back character and Harrison Ford
it's just
back
a
up
mess.
front.
I think for all intents and purposes, it's a mess. She punches his lights out at the end, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah. So basically, when they go back in time and meet Archimedes, Indiana Jones wants to stay there.
No, my gosh.
He wants to stay back in time. And she goes, well, no, you may alter the future, etc. Punches him, knocks him out, and then brings him back to the future. And then they just sit there and he reconciles at the end with a character. That's literally the ending.
Oh, that's terrible.
I am so glad I didn't see it.
He literally gets knocked out at the end.
Literally, I think between the five of us, I think the apathy, like the global, I mean, come on, the global apathy, this is what I'm trying to get into. I think we must represent some kind of demographic, different demographics, where none of us are bothered.
No.
None of us are bothered. We can't be bothered to drag our ass to a cinema to watch 2.5 hours of whatever they're promoting, whatever they're pushing. And that's another thing I just can't get my head around at the moment. The length of these films. Like, get to the point and move on. Like, get on with it. Come on.
I don't mind a 2.5 hour film as long as it's a good film.
Yeah, like, I'm going to rush to theaters to see Dune again. I know I keep bringing it up, but damn, that was the best movie I've seen in theaters in a very long time. I will go see that because I know that part 2 is going to be good. And but these things, it's like why waste for me, it's $20, which is a lot out of my pocket to go see one movie. I'm not going to waste that money on something that might be okay. Yeah, I better be hearing like, this is the best movie I've ever seen, and then I'll go see it. Like I almost went and saw the Spider-Man movie after my sister and my brother-in-law went and saw it and said, oh no, it was really good. I'm talking about the one where
across the
yeah.
Spider-Verse.
No, not that one. The other one, the live action one.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Far From Home.
Yes, that one. I almost went and saw that because everyone said it was so good. And I thought, dang, I haven't heard of a superhero movie coming out in a long time where everyone's coming out saying that was fantastic, at least not since Endgame. So yeah, I'm not going to waste my time on such a gamble.
I want to disagree with Hog. So I think that this year has actually been a good year for movies. Maybe not for the kind of movies that we normally review. All right, you know what? Everyone's got an opinion, but this year has had some really outstanding movies. Right now, I know you guys didn't like Ant-Man and the Quantumverse. I thought it was good. I don't think it deserved the reaction that it got. Okay, you tell me what was bad about it.
It burnt my retinas for a start. It was all CGI, and again, it was too long.
All right.
It was too long. Actually, when I reviewed it, much I'm shaking my head, Randy, I've got to admit, I didn't really slate it. But again...
Well, we said it was the best thing from Phase, like, since the best thing they've released since Spider-Man. It was better than all the rest, but it's still...
mediocre.
Yeah, and
all right, but... Randy, are you ever going to watch that again? Are you going to buy a Blu-ray copy?
I've seen it twice since then.
Oh wow, man! Yeah, that's a whole new world for me. Wow.
Okay, you know, it was about family. This is superhero family that is exploring the Quantumverse.
You must love the Fast and Furious franchise, Randy. It's all family.
They say it about 20 times in every movie. I will tell you that I do like that aspect of those movies. I do, right? I think that is a draw. And you have to admit, they're on what, 10?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're doing something right. Those are making money.
They have nailed a franchise for an audience, so we can't take nothing away.
You look at
in the next one, they're going back in time to see Archimedes.
Yeah. Are they going to drive so fast that they go back in time? Sort of like Flash?
Okay, but
89 miles an hour.
That's just one movie. All right. So the Jesus Revolution, which I'm sure none of you saw. That was an excellent movie. Huh?
That kind of came and went. I mean, I don't know if that had much impact other than in the States, to be fair.
Okay, I'm just saying that this year there were good movies.
On that. Yeah.
The George Foreman movie was excellent. All right. We had Guardians of the Galaxy. I loved the Guardians of the Galaxy. We had Mario Brothers. I thought Mario Brothers was really good.
Yes.
I didn't even know they made a George Foreman movie.
I didn't either.
I've got the grill.
How you invented the grill?
Is it good?
You watch it. It was by Dismal, and they show you grilling a burger. How he invented the grill, and he's doing a barbecue and he's grilling it, and they just focus on him opening it, having a look, and then he shuts it again. Then he has a chat with someone, and then he opens it and has a look. Yeah, I remember that.
300 million.
Yeah,
it was a good movie.
To be fair though, the movies that seem to have been dominating this year is all action. John Wick 4, Fast and Furious, Mission Impossible 7 is getting rave reviews, and that hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah,
that's getting that's getting top reviews. Cinema, blockbuster cinema is going back to the action movie, 100%.
And that's good. I think it's all the bits in between.
Think about what an action movie is. An action movie is focused on showing you some spectacular stunts that are filmed really well. And story is like secondary to all of that. I mean, I know we all go in there wanting a good story, but a huge chunk of the audience is going to go see what number is it now? They're going to go see
number 7.
They're going to go. Yeah, they're going to go and see that because of the stunts.
Yeah.
That's what they don't give a shit what the story is. All they want is like, we want to see something that's going to make us go, damn, Tom Cruise really did that. You know,
Yeah.
I want to see that again. That made me, I had a thrill when I watched it. That's the audience that you're catering to there.
Yeah,
and I think
if it isn't a decent story, though, I don't know. I don't think, you know, I'm a bit
it doesn't take much to have a decent story. Like even the Maverick story was not super complex or like wasn't mind blowing, but it was really nicely. No, but it was still
either. But by the time you got there to where he's refueling the plane, and you know,
yeah,
you're kind of rolling your eyes a bit, but you're in it. You're in it now.
Yeah,
and you've enjoyed everything up to that point, and you skip over that plot hole. You just, you know, you're like Skippy. You just
I think it's just take me out of reality.
Yes.
Was Maverick last year?
Take me away from this boring world that we're dealing with.
2 years ago.
2 years
and you
ago.
forgot, Randy, you forgot Dungeons and Dragons as well. You enjoyed that.
I knew I was forgetting something.
Again, I can't comment.
Sorry?
I can't comment on that. I didn't see it. I did try.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really brilliant. For me, one of the problems I run. Oh, and I also thought Shazam was a good movie. So that's probably all the movies I've seen. I know you guys are. I knew that you guys would all not like it, but here again, Shazam centers on family, and I enjoy movies that are about family.
In all honesty, Randy, I haven't seen Shazam yet, and I haven't seen Dungeons and Dragons, but I will watch them. And then
and Dungeons and
Dragons, Randy, did that concentrate on family, but the family are misfits?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
What is aggravating is, all right, if they're going to keep banging on about family and oh my god, the bond, you know, this has all been done since the days of the Magnificent Seven. Were a family. The Dirty Dozen were a family. They all had to help each other out, but they didn't keep harping on about your mum, your dad, you're the brother, you're the sister, you're the gay one, you're the idiot. They just got on with it. They had to help everyone out. But now, modern cinema, that F word is so annoying. But the first Guardians of the Galaxy film, they created a dysfunctional family. So I don't know what Dungeons and Dragons did. I imagine I'm only going on about the trailer, Andy, so you can help me out here. But I'm imagining they created that other dysfunctional family where you had one idiot, and it might have been Chris Pine by the looks of it. You know, you had the strong man, which had to be the bestest woman ever. But let's move on from that, and etc. etc. But I don't mind that, because that's a trope we've used that trope for time immemorial. But when it is just the family, like Quantum Mania, and it's the family, it's the daughter helping the dad out, and it's the dad helping the wife out, and but you've got all of this CGI, and you've got all of this sci-fi tech, and you've got an entire superhero universe, and you've got that. It's just so boring.
Okay, so I'd been thinking more and more about Dungeons and Dragons after seeing it. And one of the things that I noticed was that there was this story with the main guy who feels like he kind of failed his family. Like he's got to get back and get his daughter. But it was so, for me, I didn't feel like there was enough focus on that. Like that's an emotional story. Like he feels like he failed his daughter, and his daughter feels like she's in a better place with the bad guy. And I was thinking back, I know I keep bringing it up, but the first X-Men, the one with the one where we first saw Wolverine as, you know, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. That was a pretty damn emotional story. It was about a girl who ran away from home because, you know, she's going through, I accidentally hurt people that I touch, and he's this outcast, and it's about their bond. And a lot of it is about two people who are outcasts really being there for each other.
Gloves, and she can't touch anyone, and even though
and there was a lot of focus on that emotion right there, just the emotion. And I felt like there was something like that missing from Dungeons and Dragons. And I don't know what it is. Maybe there's too many characters. Like they're trying to have too many characters have their own story. You come back from that X-Men movie and it was only two. It was just between two people. They both had their own little things, but it kept coming back to the two of them being there to support each other. And that's a found family. right?
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like maybe they need to reduce the focus on so many characters, or they need to reduce the focus on the adventure and the story, and try to isolate this emotion, that because people will get emotionally invested in a character and their story. But if it's just step-by-step adventure, okay, we're going to cross this bridge, okay, then we're going to climb this rope and get to the top of the cliff, and then we're going to have a sword fight at the top, you know, like there's sometimes it just feels like we're going through the steps of this adventure,
Yes.
rather than focusing on the emotional growth and development and highlighting the feelings of the people that are having these things. And I'm not saying it has to be a, you know, mushy, you know, movie or whatever, but that heart is what we're looking for.
Yeah,
And
I agree on that, because to
yeah.
be fair, some films do feel like a computer game now.
Yeah.
Just
And I'm going to disagree.
I mean, that's like when James Cameron, when he did the Terminator, and he said it is a love story between Sarah Connor and John Connor.
There you go.
His dad,
No,
Kyle Reese.
the other guy.
Kyle,
that guy.
Kyle Reese, yeah.
It's about their one-night stand.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you think about it, and you think about that first film, that first Terminator film, the man knew it needed a heart to it. It's not all right, but wow, when you think about it, it had that heart, like you just said about the first X-Men film, Amber, about that relationship between these two misfits, these two weirdos, and everyone can kind of relate to that. I think most people can relate to that. These are things we can all relate to. And I don't know whether the bombast of all these new films now, I don't know if we are up for every single film that comes out to be, you know, like say, go through that list. Your Shazams that didn't earn any money, your Dungeons and Dragons didn't earn any money, Quantum Mania didn't earn any money. None of these films were. The Flash didn't earn any money. Indy's not earning any money.
Well, the Flash was more about loss, wasn't it? It had that family
No
element.
one's finding and I mean that. We will talk about that in a minute, because I am disappointed about that, because there's a nugget there, a bit like where Randy's talking about, you know, D&D and you know, I don't know about Shazam and stuff, but do you think we're just worn out by
I think so.
We don't want to see I've got a family just out there upstairs. Some of them are out, some of them's moved out. Oh, come on, give me a bit of John Wick who's got a samurai sword and he wants to smash someone's head in. Maybe. I'm not saying I don't want to see a film with heart, but I'm just trying to drill down into why aren't people, and I don't think it's all about these, but I think the budgets are spiraling out of control. In all these films we're talking about, these budgets are so way beyond how a studio thinks they're going to get their money back. For me, it beggars belief. So what is it then? Why aren't they putting bums on seats anymore?
Well, do you think about like what you said, Terminator 2, right? Terminator 1 and 2. There was a good balance, because you had the samurai sword, you had the guns and you know the cool action sequences, but then you had the counterpoint moments where it was just Sarah Connor and what's his face having their scenes together, you know, building their relationship.
When he had the photo, he's got a photo.
Well, there is a.
And then you see the flashback you see a flashback which to the future, where he's got this photo and it's all burnt out. But that kind of gives you goosebumps, because you think, wow, he's loved this woman. Do you know what I mean? But what a heart to put in a film, and that's why it was such a hit.
But to be fair, though, I think the common denominator in all the stuff that's flopped is franchise stuff. Everything's franchise. So you look at DC, you look at Marvel, you look at Star Wars. Even you could say that Indy is connected to Lucasfilm, and that is technically its own franchise. It's always the franchise stuff at the moment. So I think maybe it's not
so is Mission Impossible.
Yeah, but Mission Impossible. But then Mission Impossible is
It's its own franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Its
Old
own
Tommy
franchise.
Boy,
Yeah,
old Tom
it
Cruise,
is.
old Cruisey boy, he's his own franchise, and he, yeah.
But yeah, it just seems that, you know, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about, especially DC, Marvel, anything Lucasfilm, it's that sort of side of it that seems to be we've got the fatigue with. Whereas you give us something like Mission Impossible, which is essentially a popcorn movie, yeah, we're up for it.
And
I agree.
And I do think it's a cumulative effect, because obviously us lot here, we kind of look at the behind the scenes stuff, and we will check out the latest news of what's coming up. Like say someone like Randy but say Randy and I with the Dungeons and Dragons film. As soon as Dungeons and Dragons comes up, we have instantly got a connection to that film. So we will be interested in it, and we'll be looking at maybe the trailer and behind the scenes and what the actors are saying and all the blah, blah, blah. But for the normies, for the normal population, it for me, it can only be a cumulative, this accumulation of boredom, of fatigue, where the shit after shit films that they're bringing out, that people just ain't going to do it anymore. I don't think so, and I think this year is showing it.
Well, a lot of it's quite formulaic as well now, isn't it? A lot of it's quite formulaic, especially with like Marvel, like how they set up their films. It's essentially a formula, and their TV. And I said this to you earlier, Hog. I've watched, apart from Miss Marvel, I've gritted my teeth and gone through everything with Marvel, but I haven't bothered watching Secret Invasion.
Yeah,
Don't bother.
I'm done with it. I'm just done with it.
Don't bother.
I liked it.
So boring.
How many episodes you watched, Randy?
I've seen 2.
Now that is Disney's Black James Bond, right? That character, that is, and Disney.
Okay. Yeah.
This is for me now, and I have got the but Disney have had at their disposal everything, the greatest IPs in all of the world, the greatest intellectual properties ever, the best actors, the best directors, all the money you could ever want, a backlog of stories going back decades. They've purchased the whole lot. And you look at the past 12 months and what they have excreted from that. What a misfire. I don't get how they've got the Black James Bond, anything they could ever want, diversity, inclusivity, equality. Oh my God, here we go. They could bring everything to it. But instead, they glued on a big grey beard on him. They've put a big woolly hat on him. And like I say, if they was going to do the end of the line story with this character, which why would you? If you've got a Black James Bond, which everyone wants, wouldn't you think someone on the top floor of Disney says, everyone's saying they need a Black James Bond, but we've got Nick Fury? No. Just look at him in all the Marvel films. No, he's got all the tech. He's got the gadgets, the superheroes. No, he's got a starship. He's got satellite. He's got everything. He's got everything. No. What they've done is put him into the cheapest storyline, the cheapest, most basic storyline. And it's so dull, an alien invasion of Earth.
And the Secret Invasion comic was awesome.
Yeah, and you think, oh, yes, yeah, come on. And it's an old boy talking to his mate Talos from the Captain Marvel film that no one's ever bothered watching again. You think, I remember him from a film. I remember him. They might as well put the cat in it.
Yeah, we could have done with Goose.
No, he signed for Animal Avengers, man. He's too busy.
Goose.
I absolutely detested it. It just winds me up because there's 6 episodes.
Yeah.
And come on.
This last one was so boring.
It should be. And I'm up for a Cold War. You know, I like those spy thrillers, those, you know, even going all the way back, the Day of the Condor, that Robert Redford film in the late 70s. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, all them spy thrillers, the Cold War stuff. Love it. Love it. Yeah. Drop an alien. What a good pitch. Drop an alien invasion into that and get that paranoia going.
But the Secret Invasion comic was quite a wide-spanning thing, wasn't it? It had everyone in it. It was on a big budget because it is literally the invasion of Earth. So you've got everyone. So by doing it, well, there you go. So by doing it on
that was
a
issue
TV
2
show,
that wasn't going to be a very exciting comic, was it?
No, but this should be
not at all.
But instead of doing all the multiverse stuff, the Secret Invasion should be their next overarching thing for the next phase, not just a little TV show.
That's what
exactly.
Happened. That's what happened. Who are Skrulls and who are not?
Exactly.
Either do it or not. Look, all the different versions. I know it's probably not coming across at the screen, but look, either side, they've landed. They've been off on a mission, and one side's landed, and they don't know who is Skrull and who is not. Look, oh, that's Spider-Man, is it, or is that a Skrull? Huh? Oh, I don't know. Yes, come on. You've got what's the name from X-Men? But anyway, enough of that.
It's just a shock that this is the production company that brought you Infinity War and Endgame.
It is as cheap as fuck.
Like,
it is so cheap.
It is
I mean, that first episode, Randy, in Moscow. Did you believe you was in Moscow? Where you had
my brother said it looked like New York with a bunch of people in fur hats.
There we go.
Like New York in springtime, but they've told everyone to put a furry hat on and talk like this because I'm in Russia.
You sound like Borat.
I like Russia. I like it. You like a fury. And they're black as well. He's black. Gravik's black. They're in Moscow. I don't care what anyone says. There aren't many of them over there.
No.
And
when the guy said like, oh, you're going to go out, you know, after 10 o'clock in Russia, in Moscow, like you're going to be noticed. I was like, he better be noticed because people are going to be like, what the hell is a black guy doing here? I watched the first episode and it was a slog. I mean, I was like, I wanted to leave. And then halfway through the second one, I realized I don't give a shit about this show. I'm not continuing.
And if he was a shape-shifting alien, I would think, right, we're hiding out in Moscow. What is the most generic Moscovite I could look like to blend in? You know what? I'll be a black guy with an eye patch, or I'll be a black guy with I'll be Gravik. Or I'll be a black guy with the furry hat, the one in the latest episode.
Yeah. Looks like he's homeless. Yeah.
But if it was jumping along, you know, Fury, like why? And I think they did, Randy, did they explain away in the first episode why Fury has come down from space and hasn't contacted anyone except Talos? Was it a throwaway line to say that he doesn't know who's a Skrull and who isn't? As in Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four, or Tony Stark, or I won't go through the list.
Well, Tony Stark's dead.
Yeah, I'm going to say if Tony Stark's there, then he's definitely a Skrull because
no, but even in a flashback, what my point is, why hasn't he got any tech to detect? Why didn't 30 years ago they design stuff so they know that the Skrulls can't invade? Like none of it makes sense. Like when they're on the train, oh, there's a million of us. There's a million of us here now. And Fury goes, what you talking about, tell us? And I thought, well, mate, you was the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. That was your whole raison d'etre, as they say in Australia. That was what S.H.I.E.L.D. do, is they protect us from aliens. But what, you just thought Talos was all right and it would just be him and his family and you could have a wife?
To be fair, though, he didn't notice Hydra had taken over, to be fair.
What's that?
To be fair, he didn't notice Hydra were embedded in S.H.I.E.L.D. for God knows how many years.
Yeah.
At least that was humans.
So Randy,
surely there would be a DNA tech that you could, you know, Reed Richards could anyway. What did you like about it, Randy?
Well, Liz asked
balance it out. Come on.
Yeah, I just asked. So you liked it. So what was good for you on that? Because I haven't seen it. So
Okay, for me, I think it's got an interesting story. Okay, and you guys complain that it's not moving fast and there's not tech. Okay, how many of the people nowadays are going low tech because they don't want to be tracked by the government, right?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe Fury is way ahead of us. Maybe he realizes any tech he has is going to be able to be tracked. So what does he have? He's got a pistol, right? He's got a revolver or whatever it is. Can't track him with that, right? So I think he's being smart. And also as a writer, what a great challenge that makes. He comes down, he does not know who he can trust except for his scroll buddy, right? And that makes him, the odds are so big that he's going to fail, right? And that builds tension. So for me, this is smart storytelling. It is slower, and I'm okay with slower storytelling. But we have two guys who are both out with their respective organizations. We're going to have to work together against a huge conspiracy. So for me, that is good storytelling. That is characters facing insurmountable odds. And I think there's a lot of reflection too on race that I think it might be misunderstood. No. I'm in episode 2, they talk about it. He's like, help a brother out. And then Rhodey, right? He's like, I'm not going to help you just because you're black. And I think that's the whole setup for that scene, is maybe we should be less concerned about automatically trusting whoever looks like us. And maybe we should be more concerned about trusting and working with people who share the same values.
Yeah, no, and that's all very cool, but I think they're bludgeoning us over the head with that.
Okay.
The best sci-fi, and the fact that Fury's opening the scrolls out and that they're different and that they're the other, is that's the whole race card for me. When he sits on the train saying, oh yeah, I used to go on the train with my mum. When my mum, we used to eat fried chicken. And we used to go from Alabama to Chicago. And I thought, oh, mate, what are you
doing? Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about.
What are you doing?
You're focusing on that, but I think that they're really using that to demonstrate that that's where a lot of people's minds go. But really where our minds should go is that just because you and I are white or they're black or whatever, I mean, so-and-so is Republican, the others are Democrats, that we should stop trusting those people just because they're aligned with us in some way. And we need to really be looking at what goals we share. If you look at that scene with that in mind, I think it gives a very different message.
Actually, that's quite interesting, Randy. That is quite an interesting look on it, to be fair. I've got to admit, that's quite an interesting, because I've just looked at it as great sci-fi. And one of the best ones for me were back in the day was Alien Nation. Where all of the race, all of the things that how we treat other people of other colours and different people of different religion, anything like that.
I agree.
I thought that was a really good example of it. Whereas this, but what they didn't keep doing, they just had the aliens in the story and the humans in the story, and how we treated the aliens made you think, oh, hold on a minute, don't treat them like that just because they're aliens. And that's the whole point. Whereas good old Dismal Minus, I've got to have Samuel L. Jackson going, say what? I had fried chicken on the train.
I think it's the conversation that bugs you. So it's not because I as you were talking, Hog, and you, Randy, it occurred to me that one instance is an example of this at work in the story, whereas the other is a conversation about this in the story. And it's so less satisfying to have this play out as a conversation than it is to see it happen. So you can have the conversation, but let's see the incident happen first. Let's see him trusting some guy because, it's a fellow human, and then it backfires on him. And then afterwards having that moment of pondering and saying, I thought that it was going to be like how it was in the past, but I gotta reevaluate how I judge people. And that's like the processing after the fact. But when these conversations happen beforehand, or without the action happening at all, it's kind of like they're saying, this is what this is going to be about, and now we're going to show it to you. How about show it first, and then for the people who didn't quite catch it, you can have the moment of revelation, for your character.
And just staying on that scene, because this is the scene that kind of broke it for me, which Dismal do all the time, is they get a beautiful character that has worked perfectly fine. And putting this character through the mill is what drama is created from. It's what all the best stories are created from. You can't just, I don't want to see, I said the Black James Bond, but I don't want to see him not having obstacles in his path to overcome. But what they did in that train scene is they boiled him down to it's almost like he was a precocious teenager. When he throws Talos out of the train, they get to a train station and they're in Russia. They're in London in the next scene. Fury has got no connections whatsoever. He's down. He's supposed to be down on his luck, got no mates, but he's in Russia. He's just said to Talos, no, I don't like you anymore. I don't like you. There's a million of you and I don't like you. Get off this train now. This isn't how a heavyweight like that wasn't Fury. Even if he is down on his luck, he's got to have some pride. He's still got to be fierce. And they did that with Loki. The first episode of Loki, Marvel did it with that character as well. This is the character that nearly single-handedly defeated the Avengers. And in the first episode of that shit show, he's getting battened by a person of colour and diversity and being thrown around like a rag doll and being replaced by the best-ass woman ever. And this is the guy, he's 6 episodes of emancipation for this guy. I'm not up for that. I'm not. I mean, unless they market it for that, let's see Loki being, because he started low in that show, Loki. This is where I know, this is why I know Fury is going to end up just as, I don't want to be rude and dirty, but just as, I don't know what word to use now. I'm going to use the word weak. He started off weak, but I don't think we're going to see him raise the American flag and everything's going to be great at the end of episode 6, which is a story I'm up for. See what I mean? You kind of beat them down, you beat them down, you beat them down. Because don't forget, we're at midpoint now with episode 3 of Fury. I think at the heart of it, Randy, is I don't trust them. And I think that I can't help, as I'm watching it, I can't help thinking, do you know what? I don't trust you to redeem Fury, to bring him back to how he was. Like, he's going through these doubts. And he's got a Skrull wife. I found that really intriguing. But it's over within 2 minutes. And I thought, oh, hold on a minute. I want to know more.
That's not a bad shout, to be fair, to get a Skrull wife, is it? She can transform into whoever you want.
You can tell Liz has been around a few party planets, can't you, in his time?
Fancy being Margot Robbie tonight, love?
No, we don't go there, Liz. We don't go there. All these party planets you've been on, skitting around the galaxy, yeah.
Yeah, but in the same turn, she could turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh.
But listen, I'm going to...
Objectively, though, because I haven't seen it.
Disagree and see it, but I've got to admit, Randy, you intrigued me with your view on it.
Is it worth the hate that it's getting? Objectively, so is it worse than the other Disney Plus shit?
Getting a lot of hate. It's getting
It's
Boredom.
no one's watching it. No one's watching it.
No, and
it's getting such low views.
Review, because I don't like watching anyone else's reviews before I do one. I think I've got to do it how I've perceived it, and I don't want anything else. But
someone put it into context. Someone put it into
around, there aren't many people bothering.
Well, I put it into context. So I saw another YouTuber, and they said in its first day, episode 1 got like 200,000 views.
Ouch! Ouch!
Right, and one of the people reviewing it got more than that on their YouTube review.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
which is just insane.
Yeah,
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, a few of the comments I get on the reviews is, "I'm not going to watch it, but I'll watch your reviews." Lol, whatever. So, but it's not good. I would rather see. I'm surrounded by the shit, and again,
I'm wondering if they've just made it too complicated. Because Randy, being a writer, can see these tropes, can see these things, can see these messages.
Yeah.
But for the average person, they're not going to see that.
And okay, and that's a fair comment. Yeah. So my wife kind of enjoyed it, but she said that she was confused by some of the stuff. And I will say that the conversation about the train bothered me at first, but then I thought about it, right? And then I compared it to the conversation with Brody, and then I compared it to that he has a squirrel wife, and I'm like, no, I think they're purposely wanting us to jump that direction because they're really moving a different direction with the storyline. So it's them.
Interesting. That's an interesting take on it, Randy. I've got to say.
It's a very interesting take, but to be fair, just sort of counter arguing it slightly. I'm not saying I disagree with it, but what I'm saying is that's coming from a writer that can understand how you can, misdirect people and etc. But do we really think anyone at Disney has got that skill set to do that? Bearing in mind the amount of shit they've put out over the last couple of years.
I don't know. It could be me, right? Like I said, like you said, applying my writer skills on how I would make a story interesting. Maybe that's not what they're doing at all. But if it is, it's very clever storytelling, and I'm enjoying it.
I mean, if it is clever, like I say, it's just too complicated for the average person. I just found it boring.
I can't be having this. I can't be complicated. Too complicated storytelling, dismal minus for this fucking shit show.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If there was an if there, guys. I did preface that with if.
I'm sorry, guys. I can't. It's like when Fury escapes from Rhodey, and they're sitting, and that's quite a tense scene, and they're kind of getting there, and Rhodey says, "Well, you're fired," kind of thing, like, the apprentice. He goes, "You're fired," and Fury's saying, "Well, what on authority?" He goes, "Well, I'm here, and it's on my authority." And then there's a big geezer standing there, and he around the table, and Fury says, "Well, I ain't having none of that." And he just gets up really slowly, and the bloke's there and he kind of grabs him and twists his arm, and you hear a little crack, and he goes, and he slowly gets his gun, and Rhodey's still sitting there. This is War Machine. Yeah. War Machine is still sitting at the table, who's just sacked Fury, who used to lead the Shield and the Avengers, and oh my God. And he's got this bloke, and he's gone, this big bloke, he's twice the size of Fury, he's gone, and he's got his gun, and he puts it on the table, and he walks out. And you think, hold on a minute, Rhodey's not even going to try and trip him up, like put his leg out or something, try and trip Fury up on his way out. And that's the end of the scene. Like, there's no oof, there's no momentum or drama. There's no, and it doesn't all have to boil down to a fight, but it can boil down to some tension. That scene could have been really tense, where he could have used the guy and twisted his arm up his back. You hear the crack, and he's got his gun, and Rhodey gets up, and he's using the guy as a shield to escape. Yeah, pardon the shield pun. But Rhodey sits there and he walks out, but that is dismal minus. You either sit down and talk, or you stand up and walk and talk. Or you talk, or you, well, in Fury, in a secret, but you escape by just get. And this latest episode, Talos has got, somehow he's got a knife, and he's having a chat with Gravik. And we've just been introduced to all the other Graviks in the room. Yeah, they've all just, I don't know if you remember this scene, and all the Graviks, they all have to stand up to make sure that the audience sees it. Anyway,
I've got a different take on that scene.
But he gets the knife. So Talos has got the knife. Go on, Randy. You can counter me when I finish my rant.
Okay.
And he gets the knife and he goes bang onto his hand. And he kind of goes, all the other Graviks we've just been introduced to are doing nothing. They're still having their coffee. They're dunking their biscuits in their tea and all that around him. We've just been introduced to 20 of them, and he's just gone bang with a knife. And then he stands up and he walks out. And Gravik, he just pulls, and that's been done before, the pull with the knife, which is all a good scene, but he's a Skrull, we know, so that's fine. But why do that with the knife if you're a Super Skrull? And has anyone picked up on the extremists of Gravik? No? When he does when he uses his hand, when it's cut there, you can see it's called the extremists.
From Iron Man 3?
Yeah, the nanotech in his hand.
Oh, okay.
They've explained that well, haven't they?
Interesting.
Yeah, but he walks out. And Gravik follows him. You've got 20 other Graviks, but nothing's happened. There's been no, oh, come on, that could have been a really tense scene. Again, tension. And I know, I'm not talking about fisticuffs. I don't want to see Talos fight 20 Graviks. I just want to see something other than bang. That's twice. They've done the same thing, and it's so disappointing. It's so dull. There's no catching anyone out. No one's doing anything to defy anyone, or to, I don't know, the drama is lacking for me. Randy, go on, counter me, count my rant.
Okay, so we have the big thug, right?
Yep.
And then we have this conversation between Fury and Rhodey, right? And Fury's upset. We see Fury break this guy's arm, and it is not as wild an action scene as you want. But for me, that's the old Fury, right? And I think this is part of the story. This, at the beginning of this series, the old Fury is dead because he's come back from the blip, and he's been shaken by it. He's not the same man. But because of this conflict with Rhodey, we see a glimpse of the old Fury come back. That's what we expect with the Black James Bond, that he takes out a big muscle guy and breaks his arm. Does he need to do more than that? No, he doesn't. So he does what he has to do to incapacitate him, and then he walks out.
But
right?
do you think that works, though, Randy? What you
Sure.
actually think that scene works? He stands up, he goes, you're a crack, and he kind of puts him over there. He kind of puts the man over there. So this big guy, not even he's obviously not trained, because I would use my other arm and I would have a knife or a little gun in my and I would be using my other arm. But no, he puts one arm up his back and goes crack. And he puts him there and he gets his.
Is it more of a case of
on the table?
Is it more a case of choreography instead of actually what happened?
He's letting him do it, and he walks out. I mean, that scene, 100% don't work for me.
That's the laziness, though, isn't it?
But is it more like choreography wise of how they portrayed that instead of actually what it was meant? So what Randy's saying is that their intention, but it was just badly filmed and badly executed.
Yeah, probably, Liz. I mean,
I could go with that.
I mean, I agree with you, Randy, that's the old Fury. I mean,
yeah.
you kind of see an explosion of Fury. But you hear a crack, but then it stops. And like I say, he literally places the man 2 steps stage left, gets his gun. It's almost like it's in slow motion. It's like you're looking at your remote control going, is my telly on the... Because this could have...
Well, okay. And so if this is... If this story is in Competent's hands, that could be a clue that Rhodes doesn't do more and doesn't expect his bodyguard or his thug to do more. Could be a clue about how things will resolve down the road.
And that could have been nicely done. That could have been, Randy, come on, we're sorting the story out now. That could have been nicely done between Rhodey and Fury and the experiences they've shared between them. And this would have been awesome. And it would have only taken a look to the guard to say, but if you was to walk out, if you was to use the toilet or anything, any line of dialogue, and you could have got away with him not even twisting the arm up the bloke's back. It could have been, I'm here to serve you notice. I'm here to do this. I'm here to do that. But, and it's been done before a million times.
Okay.
Times. I'm here to do this, I'm here to do that, and I'm on the record. I'm here to serve you notice. But if you was to ask for a loo break right now, there's nothing I could do to stop you. Anyway. But,
I feel like Secret Invasion's on trial. You're the prosecution, Hog, and Randy's the defense.
But just deadly.
Watch it, Liz. Let us know what you think.
Deadly dull.
I'm going to have to, aren't I? I'm going to have to.
Deadly dull for me. Either go political intrigue. I think they started with a budget first, cheap and cheerful Charlie. They have obviously got no budget. And do you know what? You can make a lot of magic work when you've got inventive, imaginative people around you and you start with a good script. I'm not saying that you can do that in a TV show and all the pictures I've showed and all. Oh, anyway, I'm going to dig out all the good stuff. But
it's the wrong formatting for it. It goes back to the formatting issue. Instead of doing all this multiverse shit as their overarching story for Phase 4, 5, and 6, it should have been Secret Invasion. You could have had whatever you wanted then.
Yeah,
it'd have been awesome. But to try and condense Secret Invasion, if you know the comics or just the general story of it, to try and condense that into a TV show, you can get the premise of it with the fact that there's Skrulls secretly, taking over, but you're not going to get the impact of that unless you do it on a wider storyline.
And Secret Invasion was only a precursor, just quickly, before we move on. Secret Invasion was a precursor to Thanos, the return of Thanos, the Annihilation Wars, and the Guardians of the origins of Guardians of the Galaxy as we know them in the MCU. That storyline from Secret Invasion onwards, the War of the Kings with the Inhumans. Do you remember what they did with the Inhumans? Fuck. But the realm, the War of the Kings, Realm of the Kings, Annihilation, and then the Thanos imperative. And I only remember all this because I've been rereading them all recently.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's enough of, I think, unless anyone else has got anything to say about, go on while I rummage.
I
Has
think.
got anything else to say about
Was there any good points for you, Tayters?
No. It ended.
The end credits
was
were the
it.
best bit. What are the run times on these episodes?
Too long.
An hour.
Oh, too long.
Like that, when Thanos is coming back, when Thanos is returning. Oh, and the storyline, that they have when Marvel have got they've got all of this. They've got all of this, and what they do is give us the back lot of LA in spring that doesn't even look like Moscow, and they give us a lackluster
That's what I mean. How can the production company, how can the production company that gave you Infinity War and Endgame give you this?
Oh, you know, we didn't have any
work.
We didn't have any excellent female, you know, they're the bestest ever in comics. So, you know, come on, guys. You know, that was Yondu before. Oh, and here, there's just one more. I'm just going to show one more. Remember at the end of She-Hulk, when we see the son of the Hulk?
Yeah.
Look at that. That's how you do it. Not that. Oh, I'm going to swear. Shall I swear?
No.
No, I'm not going to swear. Not that idiot. You know when you see that idiot kid standing behind, what's his face? The Hulk at the end of She-Hulk, Scar. He goes, "This is my kid." And you see a little, some boy painted green. Sorry, Liz. Sorry. You just see some prick painted green.
Shall we move on? Anything positive from anybody?
Right, the Flash. Who saw it? Is it only me and you, Liz?
Did Randy see it? Did you see it, Randy?
No, I did not. The trailers underwhelmed me, and so I did not go. I've seen more movies this year than I see most years, and like I said previously, I've been enjoying them, but then I've also been discriminatory on what I've been watching, and then the Flash did not look like it would be good, and Indy Jones didn't look like it would be good. So I had not planned on seeing either one of them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd say that the Flash, I mean, it's made 250 now, 250 million.
That's terrible.
Which ain't great. And do you know what? I still stand by, because I said on the last hogCAST, I wasn't sure when I came out of it how I was feeling about it. But as we were talking through it, I was coming up with more and more good points. So it ended up sort of being more of a positive review for me. But I still don't think it deserves this. It deserves a lot more. It deserves a lot more. There's a heart to that story. We talk about hearts to story. That story's got a heart to it.
And
it's got a proper heart.
It doesn't have a happy ending, really.
Exactly.
And I have heard other people talk about it being a pretty decent movie, actually.
It is.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I'll do you a deal, Randy. I'll go and see Dungeons. I'm prepared to go and watch Dungeons and Dragons if you watch The Flash by the time of the next hogCAST. What?
I will go this next week.
Yeah, man, that'd be good.
No, I've got to admit, you know, me and Liz have been talking about the fact that, you know, I did come out of that movie, and like I've said before, you all know, I go and watch them all with my son. And we both come out, and we both, you know, we look at each other, and I wait for him to comment first, because we all know what the hog's going to say. And he went, "That was all right, wasn't it?" And I went, "Yeah, that weren't. It wasn't. It just wasn't offensive. I'm not saying it was the bestest film ever, but do you know what? I think by and large, I just thought it was a decent film, Liz. I don't know about you. I just thought I like the Ezra Miller. What for me, I thought he was going to be. I thought two of him was going to be annoying. Almost. They maxed him out. Don't get me wrong, but just enough.
The biggest criticism of that film is CGI.
You know what? When that comes out on TV.
Yeah, I'll be watching it again.
I'm gonna watch that again.
I'll definitely be watching it again.
Watch.
To be fair, I watched the other day the animated Flashpoint Paradox movie that they did. So it's basically a animated version of the actual graphic novel. And yeah, that's spot on. It's totally different. I mean, you can't really compare it to the actual Flash. But I must say, the major difference between the two. So even though the animated movie was more comic book accurate, the live action had a lot more heart to it. They proper honed in on the mum, which I really liked. So that's a major change that I really, really liked about it. They didn't really go into too much.
And the time
with that.
travel, I think the time travel stuff they got away with.
Yeah.
So like the conceit, the time travel conceit in any film that deals with time travel. For me, it's always alarm bells, and I think, oh, how are they going to deal with this? And the best ones deal with it simply. They give us one excuse or conceit, and they say, right, this is how it works, and get over it. And then they don't explain it. They never go back there. Looper
Yes,
with
good
Bruce
film.
was a good example of that.
Mm.
They gave us one example of it, one excuse, and they told us how it worked. They gave us one machine, and that was it. Other than that, no. You can think beyond it about
Time Cop.
travel, like, oh my god, no, that's not
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Time Cop was
There we go.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
based on a Dark Horse comic.
Mm.
Yes.
Loosely
Yeah,
based on a Dark Horse comic.
There was a film on Netflix that dealt with time travel really, really well.
The one where he's traveling backwards. Or
she's
traveling
yeah,
backwards.
yeah.
Yes,
I can't remember the name. Shadow of the Moon or something like that. It's called
something like that. That was very good.
Yeah, on Netflix.
Very
Yeah, basically he's a cop in the late 80s, and there's these murders are happening, and he chases down the perpetrator and kills them. They fall in front of a train, and he kills them. About 8 years later, the killings are happening again, and it's the same person. And it's wicked. It's wicked. It's the same perpetrator, and he's chasing them down, loses them. A couple of years later, the same thing happens again. And the conceit of it all is the killer's traveling back in time, and he's traveling
forward, normal. Yeah.
linear. Yeah, really, really good film. How they
And
handled
it
it.
twists again right at the end, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's
really
another
good.
twist.
Did any of you lot
Very
see
good.
The Dark on Netflix?
That German show?
I tried to watch that.
What's that? Sorry, Amber?
Is it the German show, Dark?
The Dark.
That was it.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think they did 2 series of that. Very, very good. Creepy, time travel-y. All the kids at school and them like memories. There's a scene. Spoiler alert. But it was just these scenes that when you're dealing with kids and going back in time, and the way they do it. But one of the kids is meeting his mum when she was. Oh, I don't want to give too many spoilers. It was such a nicely, a beautifully crafted scene that you would want to write if you was doing that all the school kids going back in time through this like cave-like thing. And yeah, that was Netflix did do. I think, I don't know what you lot think, but I think Netflix do more good stuff than bad.
No, I just think they do so much stuff that we get more good stuff from Netflix than we get coming in. Yeah.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
And
yeah, they
did
do
Netflix actually do that, or did Netflix just pick it up?
Oh, I can't wait for Cobra Kai. See,
That's a good question.
Got to do a special on that, guys. Yeah, you all with me?
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
Series,
You haven't watched Cobra Kai?
Are you all with me? Series 6 special?
I haven't seen it.
I've got to watch 1 to 5 first.
Wow. Tell you what, I don't know why I keep inviting you lot back here.
No, my family loves Cobra Kai. It's hilarious.
If it is hilarious. And Tayters is the one who loves, out of us lot, he is the cheese meister, right? All of us, if there's ever going to be cheese put on toast or a series or a film, that boy loves cheese.
There's nothing wrong with a bit of
No,
cheese.
but this is why I can't understand Tayters, why you don't watch Cobra Kai, because
No, make yourself watch episode 1. You'll be in. You'll be hooked.
I've watched it. I have watched it.
And don't tell me you don't like Karate Kid.
Watched season 3, and it was just like, it's okay. If I've got nothing else to do.
Oh, I love it. I was hooked. It's
season 1. I'll give you credit where credit due. Season 1 was good. Yeah. I did like the twisting of the characters, the way they played that out, it just come very samey. It wasn't really. It's like the Karate Kid movies. First one was really good. Second one, third one,
Yeah.
It's the same stuff over and over again. Fatigue. There we go.
Yeah, the fatigue.
Fatigue.
Yeah.
Fatigue a bit.
I get that.
What's
Is
going to
there
get us out of the
anything-
fatigue? What's going to get us out of the fatigue, though?
I
What do
was
we
just
need?
going to say,
What do we
is there
want?
anything that's inspired any of us recently?
Mm.
Don't all speak at once, gang.
I
Um,
already did.
Anything.
I started the hogCAST with what I thought was good, and you guys don't like it.
What's that? What? Fury? Secret Invasion?
The Jesus Revolution, the George Foreman story, the D&D movie. I liked Shazam. I've seen 6 movies this year, and I
What
thought they
about
were all
Black Adam?
good. All right, I did not like Black Adam, so, and I did see that this year, so yeah, I didn't think that was good.
Well, Randy, we don't go there. We can't be racist on my show. We can't do that. I mean, it's all white folks. It's all right with whites and Latinos, but as soon as Black Adam gets mentioned, no.
What's inspired you then, Hog, this year?
Me.
Oh, right. Same as every year. Okay.
No, you lot have inspired me this year because you're better than that lot. No, I've got back to all the comic stuff. To be fair,
Yeah, no,
I can't think of it because did we speak about Extraction 2?
we haven't spoken about that
We
actually.
watched
Not
it.
on here. We spoke about it, but
We
Yeah.
watched it. Have you
Yeah, we
of our transatlantic? No, I'm not.
I haven't seen it. No.
we were waiting.
Amber, your head went like that. Is it like?
No, Extraction 2 we all watched together, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was quite.
you
I
still seen
enjoyed
that?
that.
I didn't see it.
I haven't seen it.
That was
That's one I'll watch at home. I won't go to see
Yeah.
that in theaters.
no.
It's
It's
on
only on
Netflix.
Netflix.
It's a
It's on
Netflix. Yeah, it's a
Netflix.
Netflix job.
It's exactly
Oh.
what it says on the tin.
And
And
there's a
brought him back.
Nice.
He dies in the first film. We don't care. They bring him back to life in the second film. Do we care? No, we don't. They bring him back to life. He's all got bullets all through him, and he's on the life support machine. Boop, 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 boop.
Again, there you go. It's an action film. You're there for the action.
Yep.
As long as the
Yeah.
story makes sense and it's not too stupid. I mean, you're just like, whatever. Just
mean-
give me the good action.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
in terms of this film, Extraction 2, the spectacle of it was great. But I will still say that I said this on the night. The biggest spectacle was that continuous shot from
Yes.
the prison to the train. So they do this I timed it. There's basically 25 minutes continuous
25 or
shot.
27. I can't remember.
Something like
Yeah.
It's just a continuous action shot from him going into a prison, getting someone, getting out, getting onto a train, running through warehouses, shooting down helicopters. 25
Yeah.
minutes, and it's obviously a cheated continuous shot, but
Yeah.
the way they film it, they make it look like a continuous shot. I mean, it's prison riots in there, some brutal action. It's amazing. But when you put your biggest spectacle at the beginning of the film, nothing else in the rest of that film is going to live up to it.
No,
Yeah.
See, but I
Um,
don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea, Amber. After your evaluation of Reacher, I don't know if you're going to be on board.
Yeah.
And by the way, I just want to say thank
But,
you, because after you give that evaluation, I've just watched the whole season again and I love it.
I didn't mean that I thought it, like, oh, I'll never watch this. I watched it and I was like, this is, well, I already said what I felt like it was. But I can get into a movie like that or
Yeah.
a show like that. But I guess I just have to be in the right mood for it. And
Yeah.
if this has
Oh.
really great action in it that's not too macho. I mean, but then again, like I'll love watching Arnold Schwarzenegger do anything,
Yeah.
so it's gotta get me in the right mood. It's gotta get me with the right kind of character. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
I might like it. So
I mean, in this one, compared to the first one, this one, it's got bigger action set pieces, but the story is a bit more, there's a few more conceits to it. Like his family are involved, and his estranged family are involved, and there's a few bits to it I wasn't quite keen on story wise, but the action did sell it for me. To be fair, I wouldn't say it's as good as the first one.
So telling me that there's a 25-minute action sequence with shooting down helicopters and escaping off of a train or whatever, that would appeal to me. But then the whole, but I'm pretty sure it was a cheated 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Now I'm going, like if it was 20, I'm like, I'm going to watch this for that 25-minute shot just so I can be impressed with the action choreography and blocking. Like I want to see it play out.
It's still impressive, to be fair.
It is impressive. Okay. I mean, he goes from a prison complex to a train. It's all in one shot. It was crazy.
There's a car chase in the middle of that.
Yeah,
as well.
And there's a car chase. I mean, there's a drone.
All of those runners are cheated. Even the Daredevil, the Netflix Daredevil one in the prison scene, they're all cheated. But I don't mind that. Even the staircase scene.
Yeah.
They're cheated.
Wait, is there a staircase? Is it a circular staircase, or like does it go around and you're following him going up? Is that what happens?
Daredevil Netflix show. I mean, I'm going way back now.
Oh, okay.
About Extraction 2 now, but anyway.
Okay, but see, like I love I went and saw this Tony Jaa movie. He was like a Taiwanese Thai boxer guy. Even though I watch him now and I'm like, this is the shit stories, like terrible acting. But I know that everything I'm watching is, staged and all these added sound effects of, celery being broken. So you think somebody's femur got cracked. But I loved it, and I was always impressed with the oneers because they would have like a 7-minute thing of him taking out like 60 guys on a staircase, and I'm like,
that goes back to like On Back and Warrior King, Tony Jaa. That was awesome, man.
Yeah, and I just that kind of thing I can get behind that. But again, what you're saying, Hog, these were older, like the older one. You watch it, I'm impressed because I know it's 7 minutes, and they probably had to do it several times. It must be exhausting as hell, and I just want to see this guy still sell it.
Yeah.
I want to revisit what Amber said earlier. So she said that she would go see if it wasn't too, did you say too bad or too stupid? You would see an action movie as long as it wasn't too...
I don't know. As long as the character gets me in the right mood.
No. It was as long as it wasn't too bad or too stupid. One of those, I don't remember which word you used. Anyways, my point is, and you guys talk about all the flaws in these action movies, and yet you're still loving them. So I wonder if this fatigue we're seeing and the failure for these superhero movies has to do with there's kind of a different standard. If it's an action movie, it can be stupid and it can have flaws in the storyline, and it's okay as long as it's not too stupid, right? Yeah. But the other movies, if they have any flaws, if they're even just a little bit stupid, people are very critical, and then that gets around, and that seems to people don't enjoy the movies as much because they were a little bit stupid. And yeah, I get it. In some cases, the movies are incredibly stupid and they deserve not to get the views and everything. But I definitely see a different set of standards between these action movies, which you'll see as long as they're not too stupid.
Maybe it's how they're sold, like how they're marketed.
Yeah, possibly. Just
like maybe. I go to see a Tony Jaa movie and I know it's going to be shit story and shit acting and whatever, but I'm there to see him do some cool stunts, sort of like, I gotta
say right now, if you go see a Marvel movie, you gotta expect it. There's going to be a stupid storyline. So should we give them the same leeway?
We
see a what movie?
Marvel.
Marvel.
The problem with Marvel though, Randy, is you've got a lot of history there.
Yeah.
And these stories have already been played out through 2 other medias. Most of the storylines have been done in animated. All the storylines have come from the comic books. So you've got 2 mediums where these have been done correctly. Now you're putting them into live action, and someone messes it up.
Yeah.
But on top of that, you've also got the fact that there's been a standard from the first 10 years of the MCU.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that standard's declined massively. So I think you notice it more with Marvel when their standard drops. And I think it's the same with Star Wars. It was the same with DC. with the big franchises, because they've got this like churning machine where they've got to keep churning more shit out. They are literally, the standard has to drop. And I think that's what's being noticed. I think that may be an element of it. And especially when you hear, you know, a writer that's done one thing before is now doing top level, because they've got to produce so much. They've got to lower their standards in terms of writing, in terms of directors, in terms of the CGI. They shouldn't, but I think that's probably why it gets more criticism. I think probably that might be a reason.
I think the main reason is the decimation of the characters.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Absolute crucifixion of the characters. So forget me being a comic book geek for all my life. Think about an audience that you've brought through all of the Marvel movies, from Iron Man, not even the X-Men movies and Blade and all that, all those little beginning ones that we all forget about. Forget just those main MCU films. Dismal have got their claws into it. And what they've decided to do, instead of giving us the further adventures of all of these characters we come to know and love, they have decided to give us the crucifixion of all the characters we come to know and love. And it did start with, for me, it started with Loki. It kind of started with WandaVision as well. And I was the one that I put my hand up and said, I really like the look of that. When they started their TV extravaganza, but what they was doing was, all right, make Wanda the villain.
Yeah.
Just because she's a woman, don't make an excuse about what she's done at the end of it. Keep her as the villain. But they made an excuse of it. They kind of let her off. What? She's kidnapped an entire town. And what was it she done? Hypnotized them or magic them?
Imprisoned them.
Hundreds of people. Really? What? And they let her off?
Yeah.
Because
so do you
the bestest woman ever?
Do you think bringing the TV shows into the MCU was a bad move?
Yeah.
Because obviously prior to that, the movies were MCU, TV shows were something separate. Do you think that was a bad move?
I don't.
They spread themselves too thin.
I agree with you, Liz. That's exactly what I think. They've tried to put too much into it, and
they spread themselves
too quick.
Yes.
Yeah, they spread themselves too thin, and you have to lower your standards when you do that.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I don't like even Black Widow. That was, you know, before everything started churning out. Black Widow is a movie out of time.
Yeah.
It could have been good, but the story was so ridiculous. It was terrible.
I disagree that it could have been good. It could have made more sense had they placed it in the correct place. But I don't think it would have been good.
Oh, it could have been awesome. It could have been awesome, but CGI was terrible. The action scenes were terrible. It just looked cheap. It looked like a McDonald's.
Sounds amazing.
Well, this time of night, it looks like the bestest ever. I don't know, but I don't know what the answer is. I just think that they had the world at their feet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to direct this at.
I think they should have just kept them separate entities.
I'm going to direct this at Disney. They had the world at their feet.
Yeah.
With the franchises, the power, the money, everything at their disposal.
It's like every decision it appears to be the wrong decision. Like look at Daredevil. Daredevil is a prime example. So you've got the Netflix shows, and they finally get Daredevil back across. And instead of going, right, we're gonna, you know, just keep doing what was working, it's the gold standard Daredevil show. The Netflix Daredevil show was the gold standard for superhero TV shows.
Basic business sense.
You carry on with it.
Tell you to do more of that.
Yeah, don't fix it.
That went down really well. It got a gazillion hours of viewing time on Netflix. That even through the pandemic, Daredevil got back into the top 10 again.
Yeah,
for viewing hours.
Yeah,
but instead of going, let's get all that gang back and do series 4, they go,
which was already written.
Let's do it completely different. and let's have quips. Let's get the quip coordinator in. Let's make him CGI instead of doing all those practical stunts and make it look awesome and gritty and grim. And they have done gritty and grim and awesome on Dismal, on the Who Star, whatever it is. They can do it. If there's they have, like I say, they have got the world at their feet. Whatever they want to do, they can do. Like this new Deadpool and Wolverine film.
Yeah.
I pray to God that they just allow Ryan Reynolds to do what he's done before. And they don't have to break the mold.
No,
they don't have to break the mold with this film.
I think
there's one more film. There's one more.
I think just quickly, Hog. I think there's the writer's strike. I think that may have just damaged Deadpool 3 potentially more than we know. Now, I'm not quite sure on the clauses, but obviously the script was done, and with every Deadpool 3 script, Ryan Reynolds improvises a lot of it.
Yeah.
I think there's a clause somewhere within the writer's strike. He's not allowed to improvise on set because he's technically rewriting the script.
I find it so funny that Hollywood is being held with a gun to their head by the writers, the fucking writers that have been giving us this shit for about 15 years. Fuck me.
But imagine a Deadpool film where Ryan Reynolds is not allowed to improvise.
When a nurse goes on strike and says, I can't give you your anesthesia before your operation, and she goes on strike, that's power. When these writers that have been giving us this drivel, this dross, this crap, when they go on strike, you say, bye then. Yeah. We're going to get some more writers in. Bye now.
but anyway. I mean, if I was on the set of Deadpool 3 right now, and that is true that Ryan Reynolds is not allowed to improvise, I'd be stopping. I'd be stopping until this shit is over.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I think Amber alluded to it a bit earlier. It's that trust thing. Do you trust?
Yeah.
You trust certain actors, maybe certain brands.
Directors,
Directors, yeah. You know, we're trusting Villeneuve to give us Dune 2, aren't we? All day long. Oppenheimer.
That looks good.
I am trusting.
That looks good.
My son has said to me, like, "What, Dad? Why do you want to go and see that?" And I said, "Look, it's Nolan, and he's going to create something interesting." As much as I keep banging on about momentum and action and all the rest of it, I am not averse to a drama. And you can see, even by the trailer, he's creating protagonists and antagonists in this story within the true story of creating the atom bomb of all things. So you can see he's an exceptional filmmaker. You just trust him. I'm just going to go to the cinema and I trust him. And I moaned earlier on about 2.5-hour films. I know Nolan's going to do 3 hours. He's going to do. I've got to get ciders and beers and popcorns, and I've got to have a fruit basket, and I've got to pack lunch, everything. Got to
Wait, see, that's again one of those things. You know that he's put out nothing but good stuff for so long that you're gonna go and at the very least come out say that was worth going and seeing in theaters.
Yeah, he's allowed to do it. But again, do we all think that he's and the Nolans of this world and the Villeneuves, they're all at the top of their game. They're all at the top, and we can't deny they're all a big budget. I think, I don't know about what you lot think, but I think it's that middle band, it's that mid-range budget films.
Yeah.
Like this this one that's done in Indy 5. What's it called? Sound of
Freedom.
$40 million. Do we think I think we're missing, where's the finance and the will and the enthusiasm?
But these are passion projects.
These films in the mid-range.
Looking at like Dune, we know that Villeneuve is he's obsessed with it. He wants to portray it well. You know, he knows the lore, he knows the story, he knows the fans. And then I'll bet you anything, Christopher Nolan really put his heart and soul into Oppenheimer.
Oh, yeah,
you can,
100%.
you know, and And then Sound of Freedom, you had people who were very dedicated to, and actually the purpose of that movie, they said, is to get this story out, because you haven't seen a movie like this. There are no other movies that are getting out that are saying child trafficking is the fastest growing black market whatever in the world. And people who are dedicated to what they're making. And then you have like Marvel, and it comes back to the fast food films, you know, that they want to make money. That's all they care about. They know that they have a big audience, and they're just going to pump out movies to get people to come to theaters. But people are starting to go, you know what? I used to go see these because they were fun and because I enjoyed them, but now I'm not enjoying them and I'm not having fun.
I was just going to say that there's nothing wrong with these corporations pumping out, like Warner Brothers would pump out crime thrillers. When everyone wanted to see a crime thriller, they would do 6 of them a year. When everyone wanted to see a Western, they would do Westerns. And when everyone wanted to see horror films, they would do horror films. I've got nothing against the business of it. But the cynicism that has crept in, and it is dismal minus, that they're the top of the shop there. They are still the biggest by far. The biggest by far. So you've got to aim your sights at them. And again, when you've got the world at your feet, you decide to go for the cheap, like the lowest common denominator. You decide to do the cheapest crap you can do, because you think that the fans that have been
are going to go spend money.
Yeah, that have been devoted to this stuff for years.
Think about
T-shirts, the posters, the merchandise, the action figures. But do you know what? I think everyone's stopped it. And it hasn't been like a strike. We haven't all sat back and gone, no, we're not buying it anymore. It's been like that.
Slow trickle.
Do you know what? They are at the end of the road. No merchandise, no box office, and no streaming.
Yeah.
They're at the end of the line. So I've got to sell something. I'm still saying they've got to sell something.
Definitely.
So
well, KK should be out soon because all the things were rumours were if Indy flops, which is what it has. KK's got to go.
She's going. Her head's got to roll. That's my prediction. Her head's rolling.
I was reading an article about, I know everybody knows what's going on with The Witcher, but, you know, how Henry Cavill left because he was fired, but he was fired because basically the producers didn't like that he was so passionate about The Witcher. Yeah. And then, of course, the story comes out that the writers, the people who were writing the show, actively hated the story. Why do you have people who don't like what they're working on it? It's the whole passion project thing. They don't care. They don't care at all. And it's not even about being knowledgeable about it or, you know, somebody who can tell you what the lore is going back. It's about, do you enjoy what you're doing enough that you care about making something good? But they hated what they were creating. You can't create something good if you hate it. Yeah. So, I mean, I watched season 1 of The Witcher, was bored. Season 2 is supposedly better.
To be fair, my son loved it. He loved the game and he loved Witcher, and he watched series 2 and he liked that.
Now, I heard season 2 is good, but I think everybody knows that the next season is not going to be enjoyable because all of this information comes out. Henry Cavill has left, and that's not why people are not going to watch it. I think they're going to stop watching it because you're going to see the Witcher character being sidelined for something else because the people did not like this character. The people writing it, they don't like him. So why would they do anything interesting with this character they don't like? They're not going to. They're going to write about somebody else or they're, you know, whatever. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, the whole fast food pumping out movies just for an audience is, I think, what's part of this is they've got some writers that they go to and say, okay, we want you working on this movie. Yeah. I hate that story. I hate that series. Like, I can't stand it. So you're just gonna put together something and then send it off and be like, okay, I'm done. You know,
it's just the cynicism. It's a bit like the only thing I can relate it to is like the horror film genre, where every now and again it kind of reinvents itself, whether it's Saw or there's a fly in here. tell you what, this is like the beginning of a horror film. But like the horror genre, that consistently earns revenue for the studios that produce those films. There's an audience for it. I know we alluded to the Fast and Furious franchise earlier on. Do you know what? I'm all for that. I'm not a fan of it, but that doesn't make it something that a studio shouldn't do. If there's an audience for it, then go and make it. Because there are people that have never watched a Star Wars film that I kind of go, you know, say what? But it's not for them, but it's for me. So but if you're going to be cynical about it, if you're just going to take the audience for granted and give them the shittiest thing, that's when you will lose your audience. But what the horror genre in particular, I think, has always done is there will always be the young bucks that will come up with these new stories, whether it's Blair Witch back in the day, or Saw, or Hostel, or
Paranormal
Activity, the masks,
Purge,
Scream.
Right, thank you. So straight off the top, right, so that's 5. They are constantly, and in between all of that, over the we just probably went through about 30 years of horror films there. But my point is, they never ever just go, oh, I know they'll do the sequels, but they'll never ever just go, oh yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll do that, and then we'll do that. There are the ones that are in there thinking, oh yeah, so you go from Scream to Saw to Hostel to Purge, whatever. Do you see what I'm? Makes sense that they're not treating the audience like idiots. They are trying to entertain within their genre, the horror.
Yeah.
You know what to expect: a murder here, murder there, whatever the horror genre demands now.
You get the sense that they're at least going, what does the audience really like? Let's give that to them.
What do you want? Well, I'm going to do exactly what it says on the tin for you. Whereas, and that is what fundamentally, I think, at the core of what Dismal as a corporation has done.
Well, it's doing what the audience want, not what we want to do.
No, they have said, this is what we think you want.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is what you need, and particularly like the animation side of stuff. You know, you buy a company like Pixar, and what's his name, Lasseter, bailed out straight away, more or less straight away. John Lasseter, who was the one behind Toy Story and Up and all of.
Where did he go anyway?
Where did he? I think he
retired on the beach drinking peach daiquiri at the moment, probably.
yeah. He's on the beach. He's on the beach somewhere going, ha ha.
Yeah.
But they decide that kids that well, no, not kids. They decide that the audience for their films needs non-binary relationships, lesbian relationships, gay relationships. It can't be that.
Well, again, like I was saying earlier, that this is the reality we're in. We don't want to go and see that on screen.
Yeah.
It's why, you know, it's shit as it is. Why do we want more shit?
That recent, just one quick thing. That recent Guardians of the Galaxy storyline that I read, that they based the films on. I've just bought the whole collection of the 25 and all the associated little stories around it. It's big, massive storyline in the late, 2007, 2008. There's 2 main characters in it that are lesbian, Moondragon and Quasar, right? That they didn't put in the films, by the way. But in the first issue and the last issue, the whole storyline relies on their love of these 2 women characters. I didn't give 2 monkeys fuck. I didn't care. But they didn't say in the first issue, oh, we are both lesbians and we really love each other, and this whole storyline relies on us making it through to issue 25. They had a relationship in the first issue And then one of them dies, the other one dies. La 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 la. It's a star cosmic spanning galaxy quest, but it makes sense. Right at the end of the story, you think, aha, it kind of was stronger because it was that kind of relationship rather than a normal hetero one.
Yeah.
But my eyes didn't roll because they didn't have a scene where they're scissoring and snogging and strap-ons and all the rest of it. They just did it nicely. That's all I wanted to say about that.
I'm glad.
As soon as I said strap on, I thought I'll stop.
Maybe a little bit before that. Would be good, but
there's no segue from strap on, is there, Amber?
That's pleasant.
I'm at a loss.
Oh, yes, there is a segue. Barbie.
Oh boy.
Barbie.
Ah!
We go from strap on to nothing, strapless.
Nice.
Right, I've got one question for you lot.
Okay.
Why?
Why do a Barbie movie?
Don't say to sell toys because I
Why
was.
do a
No,
Mario movie?
I do not. This is not a movie for kids.
No.
Barbie is not a movie for kids. It's for grown-ups who once when they were kids played with Barbie and now they want to laugh at it. At all the tropes. They want to, that's what this movie is. I think it's gonna be very inappropriate for kids.
Yeah.
It's got Will Ferrell in it, so.
But to be fair though, that is quite a good sort of pitch to have, really, isn't it? Like, we know this is stupid. Let's just laugh at ourselves.
Yeah, I think it's gonna make fun of itself a lot. So okay, what was the movie?
That's what it's gonna be.
Huh?
I think so. From the trailer,
it's going to be like a self-deprecating look at.
Well, like you said, it's got Will Ferrell in it.
It's definitely going to be self-deprecating. Yeah. It definitely is. Yeah. The first trailer I saw, it was just all taking place in the Barbie world, and then I heard that it's actually Barbie goes into the real world.
Who wants to sing the song right now?
Huh?
Who wants to see what?
Who wants to sing the song right now? When Amber said "in the Barbie world."
Oh, the actor.
Yeah. I'm a Barbie girl.
You want to sing then?
Yeah. But I mean, wasn't that the song in the first trailer that they played? I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. I think they did, but that song is making fun of all of that.
Sorry, the sound broke up again. What was it?
But you get it, right? Like, so, like, think of like Zoolander.
Yes.
You remember Zoolander? Yeah. I mean, that is making fun of the modeling industry and then acting. I love that scene with Fabio going, I'm really honored to be getting the actor/model award or whatever. And then, it's stupid, but it's so self-deprecating that it's enjoyable to a broader audience to watch. I mean, we can all look at it and go, yeah, we've all kind of thought that about models. They have no brain in it. The whole concept of that movie was that models are so stupid and malleable mentally that you can train them to be super killers and they don't even know that they're being trained. But yeah, I think that's what they're going to do with Barbie. Or they're going to do something like that Disney movie Enchanted, but I think that would be the wrong direction for them to go. I think the best thing that they could do would be for it to go the Zoolander route and just let it be silly and goofy. Huh?
I love Enchanted.
Go on,
you love Enchanted?
Roy.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Oh, I love that film. No, that's it.
That was it.
That's fine.
The bloke from X-Men. He's the prince. And
that guy.
James Master.
That was great.
She can act. What's her name? She can act anything. She can do anything.
The girl. Yeah, I don't remember her name. But that first 5 minutes, whatever the animation, I thought it was hilarious. We'll be married in the morning. But you see how it was making fun of itself so hard.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was
it. Once.
And you watch her when she gets to the apartment and she decides she's going to clean the apartment, and the cockroaches are cleaning the toilet or cleaning the bathtub.
Everyone,
it's
the cockroaches. She gets the birds to do the curtains.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but it's hilarious.
And
it's so funny because you're like, this is exactly what the cartoon was doing, but now they're doing it in reality, and you're realizing this is gross. You know, so that's what Barbie should do that. But see, I don't like the ending of Enchanted so much. Because it shouldn't have opened it up to sequels, and they did a sequel. I don't know. There's something about the ending of Enchanted that I was like,
did you watch the
it's
sequel?
sort of a downer. No, I heard what the concept was, and I was like, oh, whatever. But
yeah, I didn't go for the sequel, to be fair.
It wasn't that good.
Oh, wasn't it?
Well,
no.
I can't believe I've got to put Enchanted 2 on the thumbnail of this podcast now. I've got to write this down. I've got Enchanted 2. Am I that drunk?
See, okay, so I'm thinking like at the end of Zoolander, he made a tiny little change, but he was still stupid. I mean, he opened up the Derek Zoolander school for children who can't read good, you know, like that or whatever, and want to learn to do other stuff good too. Like it was still ridiculous, but they went with it. I mean, even though I didn't think that the sequel was very good, but you know, I just thought that they ended it without too much change. They kept it as funny, you know. In Enchanted, they sort of said this is all BS and you should want to be in the real world or whatever, and I was like, okay, that it was a bit of a downer of an ending in my opinion. But I think that they should just stick to the silliness with Barbie. I have a feeling they're going to do the Enchanted thing, but I hope that they don't. I hope that they keep it ridiculous all the way to the end.
I think it's going to be way too modern to be Enchanted. I'm with you.
Really?
Do that in essence.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a very modern take, and it's going to be very.
Well, I think she's going to get out in the world and be like, wait, I want to put my heels down. And like, you know, which I think was in one of the trailers, you know, I want to wear, you know, slouchy jeans and a t-shirt. And like, you know, I think it's going to be that. And that's going to be kind of sad. It's going to be, you're going to get to the end. It should just be stupid and ridiculous all the way to the end, you know? Have Derek turn around and do the, you know, Magnum. Oh, it's beautiful. You know, the one face. Like, I mean, come on, how ridiculous was that? But that was the climax. The climax was the ridiculousness. You know, was the winner. Like it, and they're not. I don't think they're going to do it with Barbie. I think it would be a mistake to not do it. But
it's
I
not
think
going
that's
to
where
be
they're
any
going.
blue steel.
I don't think it's going to be blue steel. It would be great though if they had some, you know, Barbie concept that, you know, just totally over the top and that is the finale, but they're not going to do that. They're going to have her enter the real world and they're going to, you know, have her go like, oh, I hate all the Barbie concepts. You know, I think it's so stupid, like that I have to always look pretty or, you know, I have to be stupid or whatever. It's going to be that because that's where all media is doing. My only hope is that
you got to have some fat bird at the end go, I can be Barbie as well, can't I?
They're gonna well, because what has Barbie been doing?
Some bloke come along or Ken. Oh,
I mean, Barbie has been.
I can be Barbie as well, and I can tuck this in. Yeah,
they're gonna do that. My only hope was that Ryan Reynolds is involved, and he seems to have a pretty broadly accepted sense of humor. But I don't know, you know. So
who do we think the audience is? This is my. I don't, because I can't, as the actress said to the bishop, I can't put my finger on it.
Hold it in.
That's what she said.
Hey, let's get and the double entendres.
No, the audience is going to be adults. It's going to be adults who have once played with Barbie and kind of roll their eyes at it now. That's who, just like in Enchanted, it was the people who know all about the Disney movies and all the Disney tropes and the princesses and whatever. And, you know, now they go, oh, somebody who's making fun of it. The only complaint with Enchanted was you get to the end and it's kind of a, you know, like how sad was that finale? She goes, I don't want to go back to where I used to be. You know, like she's like becomes a normal person. And you're like, well, that's the death of that character.
Yeah.
You know? That's why I like the end of Zoolander. He was still a freaking idiot. He was still a moron by the end, and all of his moronic things. You know, the Magnum saved the day. you know? So yeah. I hope that's what they do in Barbie, but it's not what they're gonna do.
No, I completely disagree about your Enchanted review. Oh, I'm not having that.
Ah,
I liked it from beginning to end.
I liked it, but I didn't care for the ending being kind of a downer.
And what is the actress's name? The ginger woman.
I don't know. She is good.
Amy-
I'll look her
Amy
up.
She was in the Muppet. She was in the
Amy-
Muppet movie.
Adams.
Yeah.
Amy Adams.
That's it.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Oh, and she was in and she was in a Denis Villeneuve film. What was it?
Yeah, and she was Lois Lane.
Arrival.
Arrival. What a film.
That was good.
That's an awesome film.
Mhm.
How did he?
Loved that.
How
Did he write that?
that script work? How do you? It worked so well, but after you've watched it and you sit down and you have a cup of tea and you think, how did they all make, not just him, but how did they all make that work? Like those alien hands on the thing and the communication, and because that you are always a millimeter away from cheese.
Yeah.
When you're doing that alien communication stuff, but the way they did it with like that, the circle of the symbol and all that she was using, and God, what a film!
That was a good film.
I really enjoyed that.
It helped that you didn't really see the aliens also.
Yeah,
Like they
that was
didn't
good.
really, that's always good to leave it up to your imagination.
But they did show you kind of.
Okay, it's based on a short story from 1998.
Who by?
Somebody named Ted Chiang.
Oh.
I don't know who that is. I've never heard of the story before.
Or The Arrival.
Arrival's based on. I'm sorry, I missed the joke. But yeah, it's based on the short story of your life. So, anyway.
Well, a bit like Blade Runner, based on a short story. Love it.
Yeah.
Sometimes the shorter the story, the better the.
Yeah.
There's an argument for a typical single film, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe even 3 hours, should be based on a short story and not on a novel. A novel should be spread out over a series.
100%. 100%. I agree with that.
Sorry to end that. That's
well, that's the end. That is the end.
really
I don't know unless. Oh,
okay. I have a question. Did anybody of you guys see Nope?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nope.
How'd you like it?
It took a little while, but yeah, I'll come
Same.
around to it. Yeah, it took a little while to get with it, but yeah, I know I really enjoyed it. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think it was spectacular, but I had fun.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. It was a fun film. It was a fun film.
I gotta say, I liked the cinematography. For some reason, I was getting different vibes from the beginning. I was like, I wasn't expecting directing and cinematography like this for the first, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, you know, and then it was very suspenseful.
I mean,
and then of course the alien happens.
The bit with the kids in the where the
horses. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That
I don't
get
know
ya?
what I was like, what the hell is this? And I'm so glad it was fake.
Yes.
I'm so glad, because I think that on rewatch you would have been like, what? But I was still creeped out.
Spoilers.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's still
I've not
good.
spoiled much.
Yeah. No, you haven't.
Yeah. Watch it. You know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
No,
Anyway,
it's a good film.
It's fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah. I mean, the sister character, oh my gosh, she was so obnoxious. She's awful. It's one of those situations where you've got like a really obnoxious, like she's out for herself, and that's like, I don't know, are we supposed to root for that? Because I wasn't. I was like, I hope she gets eaten. Like
she was the complete opposite of her brother. Just complete. Yeah. It's actually a good watch. I would recommend people watch it.
Yeah.
To be fair, I've been going back through Black Mirror, just going back through some of the older episodes, to be fair, just because it's just one and done, good storytelling, good episodes, just going back through that. Thoroughly
I've got to
enjoying
do that. I've got to go all the way back to season 1, episode 2 and start again.
Yeah, man.
Has anyone seen the Across the Spider-Verse, the second one?
No.
Have you seen it, Randy?
Yeah, I did.
Which one did you see?
Which one? What?
You know, there's more than one version of that film.
I
What?
did not.
Yes. So because it's multiverse, you go and see one doesn't mean you go back, you're going to see the same movie. There'll be differences.
What?
Really?
Yeah, it's like they did with the TV show. Was it Kaleidoscope, where you can watch it and make it? Yeah, it's similar sort of thing. But because it's
Okay.
multiverse, yeah, they're basically. I know there's a minimum of 2 versions. There may be 4. We're not 100% certain.
Okay.
But yeah, you can go back to the theater, watch it twice, not see exactly the same film.
That's weird.
Help
That's
differentiate
fun.
between the two.
How do they work that out?
I don't know what the differences are yet, but
How do they work that out then? Going back to the cinema.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would only want to go if I could be like, I know that I've seen this version. I want to
Yes.
go see that
Yeah.
one now. So
Yes.
if they're not letting you do that, if they're just like, oh, you'll never know until you watch it. Oh, that would piss me off so bad.
Yeah, you see the
You've got to
same
watch
version
it
again.
20 times to maybe get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I don't know
Andy?
the logistics behind it. I'm just saying it was a idea that they come up with to, like, it's multiverse. So
Was it good?
you're not necessarily watching the same film when you go back and see it again.
I liked it. I
You
thought it was a
liked
good
it?
movie.
I've heard it was good,
First
but that it was unfinished. It's a part 1 of a 2-part
Yes,
movie.
it is part 1 of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm-
my son said that. He said it's just setting up for the trilogy, like the end of
Yeah.
it. You know, you got the first film, then you got this one, and then it's just set.
Yeah.
So, but all I can say is the style of the animation I did.
Very good.
It is
Like,
good.
do it if you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Do it like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
See, that is a production team that really loved what they were working on.
yeah,
You can tell that they put a lot of effort into every frame.
even at the end of the first one with Kingpin and the way they portrayed him as this adventurous,
Yeah.
massive. I don't know if he appears in this one because I haven't seen it, but yeah, you know that just enough of the source material.
Yes. I was just about to say that.
Let's do our own thing, and let's keep the characters. You know, let's keep Peter Parker and Spider-Man or Miles Morales, whatever it is. Let's keep them all as the characters that the audience knows and loves.
Mm.
There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to do a new character, which they actually, having said that before, I was going to go off into a little rant then,
Go on.
but this is a perfect example of how intelligent creators change tradition. They changed Peter Parker into Miles Morales. They changed Spider-Man into a young black kid. That was the reason, and it was only my son that, you know, I'll be honest, that was the only reason I went, no. And he went, Dad, shut up. Just watch the film. This is the first one I'm talking about now. He went, shut up. It's a good film.
Yeah.
That it doesn't matter that he's a young black kid. But all I could see, and it was a bit like what Randy was talking about earlier on about the perception of, you know, that Secret Invasion, the train scene, where maybe I should be looking beyond that.
Yeah.
I still don't believe that Disney Wireless are going for that kind of audience. But anyway, it is there. But when you look beyond that, yeah, they've kind of made a really cool modern update. All right, the kid's black. He could be Pakistani. He could have been Chinese. He could have been. Is there any others? He could have been. He could have been lizard. Even though that's one of Spider-Man's enemies. But
Yes.
anyway, I digress. But he could have been anything. But they just changed it into a modern, cool character, stylized animation. Like Amber said, you can tell that everyone's got love and enthusiasm. And let's do this. Wouldn't it be cool? But not in a shit way. Like I've criticised Dismal in the past. Wouldn't it be cool if we just did this? And then that makes that one tiny scene work. Wouldn't it be cool if we just did that? But what good creators do is all get round and say, wouldn't it be cool if we did this and we did that? That train scene in the first film,
Yeah,
and the snow and the everything that's making that scene work. Wouldn't it be cool if he's got the webbing and he's getting pulled by the train and it? Yes, that's all I have to say about that.
Right.
Well, I didn't see the latest one.
That's all right.
Is it on par with the first one?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
I'm not asking you.
I've heard
Slightly
that.
different.
I've heard that it would be like part one, because it's the first half of a story. It's hard to really compare. Like you won't really be able to, but otherwise it felt like it was pretty good. Like it's going in the right direction and it did the right thing. So it's satisfying audiences and keeping them interested enough to want to go see the third movie.
Yeah.
Again, done good business.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of those films, one of those anomalies this year that earned money.
It will do. It will do. I think it will do really well.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's earned money. Well, I don't know what else there is to talk about, gang.
Not really much, is there?
Unless you want to waffle about something else. But other than that,
I can't think of anything.
is it time to freeze frame?
I don't even think there's been anything. I don't even think there's been anything TV related.
No. What's coming out soon? Anything coming out soon?
Mission Impossible comes out next week. Oppenheimer comes out on the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
Only Mission Impossible.
Wise.
The horizon for me is only Mission Impossible 7, to be fair.
Yeah, TV wise, I
Tom.
don't think there's much.
It's Tom and the team for me.
Yeah.
On the horizon. That's all it. Yeah. But TV wise, no, it's a shame.
Yeah.
And
it's the summer.
On a
Yeah,
non-genre note, there's a series called Hijack with Idris Elba.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know if it's Amazon. I don't know who's done it. I don't know if it's Amazon, Apple TV. It's called Hijack. And apparently, I'm hearing from all the normies, it is really good.
It's not about Idris Elba and his mate called Jack, and they meet.
No,
Hi, Jack.
it doesn't say hello
Right.
at the beginning of each episode.
It's Apple TV.
Yes. Oh, so you need a special.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not seeing it.
Yes, you will. You'll find a way to stream it with your tech knowledge. Look at Amber. Oh, butter wouldn't melt in your mouth, Amber, would it? Oh no, I don't know how to legally.
I know all the Russian websites that let you see stuff on other channels and streamers. So yeah, you just got to have your ad blocker up. So
That's it.
That's the one. Well, so I've heard.
Yeah, we wouldn't know about
The
that
host of
fire
the
stick.
show, I cannot condone such behaviour.
I won't say anymore.
On that bombshell, I think that's about it. Don't you think, guys? It's a shame. It's a shame that there's not enough, really.
Yeah.
Well, you say that. I mean, we've still been waffling for over 2 hours about not a lot.
Yeah.
So
not including AI.
What?
Oh, the AI discussion that we had
AI
the other day.
We had a couple of you.
No AI in this one.
Which I think that will rear its ugly head again, to be fair, in our discussion.
Definitely.
I think.
Well, did you hear that Threads, which is Facebook's competitor to Twitter,
Yes,
I guess
who's on that?
yeah.
Who's on that?
I'm not, but but get this. Okay, so this is the latest thing that I've heard. It's kind of bizarre. So a bunch of AI was used to take a bunch of data off of Twitter. Then Facebook hired all of the ex-Twitter employees that Elon fired.
That's it.
And basically said, just make Twitter, but we'll call it something else, and we'll make sure that it's a positive environment. And then somebody just recently posted that they said, I've discovered that if you have Instagram, okay, which is also owned by Meta or whatever, and you download the Threads app, and then you decide you don't like it and you try to delete the Threads app, it will also delete your Instagram account. So you cannot delete. So like if you have an Instagram account, which a lot of people have, and you decide to test out Threads, and then you don't like Threads and you want to get rid of your account, it won't let you.
That's
without
exactly what
like
I've done as well. That's exactly. I thought
I was like,
I'm going to be first. I'm going to be one of the first 30 million that joined Threads in the first day, because there was 30 million like just went bosh. I thought, right, I'm going to be ahead. geekyOlhog's ahead of the curve, and it's just like Instagram.
Yeah,
you literally. I don't know if any of you have tried doing it.
no.
But I went on it. I haven't been on Twitter. Well, I tried Twitter years ago, and I looked at it and I thought, I don't speak Greek.
Yeah.
That was me done.
I got into Twitter for the news lately because I think it's really cool. It's citizen reporting now, or whatever you call it. So it's civilians out in the world. Like, I'm here at this place. This is what's happening. I like that. I think that's pretty neat.
That's cool if you can hone into that.
Yeah.
But I just thought, geekyOlhog needs to be on Threads, and just as boring as I thought it was going to be. On his Instagram, just as boring as all social media, to be fair, for me. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, you definitely strike me more TikTok.
I could see you on TikTok.
Easy.
Yeah.
Emojis.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. TikTok's a bit of you, definitely.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that's what I've got to do this week?
You've got to do TikTok.
I've got to get my ass on TikTok, yeah?
The angry hog. You should be the angry hog. It'd be good.
Fucking Secret Invasion. Disney Plus. Dungeons and Dragons. No, I don't mean that, Randy. Don't mean it was just to see if you were still awake, Randy. Oh, thanks, guys.
No,
guys, I think we really did pull the sweet corn out of a turd there. We really did. The turd of modern pop culture and what's going on, because there ain't a lot going on, is there?
There's not, no.
Unless we start talking about, I start talking about comics, Amber starts talking about books, Randy starts talking about books, Liz starts talking about
space,
alien scrolls.
Keep your eyes open for the 3-Body Problem, the Netflix show. 3-Body Problem.
Why are you saying that right now?
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind.
I'm doing
for next time.
No.
It's a cliffhanger for episode 20.
Yes, there you go.
You've reinvigorated it now. Like, what's that?
3-Body Problem is
here we go. Another hour.
I think it's gonna be big. Just want to say that. No, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I think it's gonna be big.
You can't leave it at that.
When's it released?
I'm not allowing
When's it released?
The concept. Well, let me just give you the concept really quick. The concept is cool. We discover that aliens are coming. They're on their way, but they're like not going to be here for like 100 years, and they're on their way to destroy us. Yeah. So now we're going to spend like the next century like going, we got to figure out how to defend ourselves. So you're going to watch over 100 years or more, and people getting, how do we act as a society, as almost like a single organism of people to defend ourselves from imminent destruction. I think it's a cool concept, and
I'll have to watch that because there's a lot of questions straight away.
Yeah, I know, but isn't that it's an original concept though, right?
Yeah. Is it?
So
cool.
That was taken from some manga or something.
No, it's a novel. It's a novel that was really successful. It came out of China. When it was translated to English, it was a hit all over BookTube. Mainly because it's a terrifying kind of concept, like what happens to people when we feel like our doom is coming upon us. Like we know it's coming, but maybe we can stop it.
Will you be allowed to see that in America? It's based on the Chinese book.
It's being made by Netflix. Actually, there's already a Chinese series. I was thinking of watching the Chinese one and then comparing it to the American version, because I'm like, what? They're still basing it like in China. So I'm like, why would you okay, we already have the Chinese show. They've already produced it in China. So now Netflix is going to be like, we have the rights, and now we're going to remake it, and it's still going to take place in China. I'm like, it's a little odd, but maybe because, it'll all be acted in English, it'll be more palatable to the audience. I don't know. But I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be one of those, every episode you're kind of anticipating what's going to happen. The creeping doom is coming, right?
It does sound interesting.
And
Yeah.
I hope there is some train journeys. I hope there's some walking and talking about it.
It's Netflix, not
We've
Disney.
got 100 years. We've got 100 years. No, but if Netflix...
Well, that's the big
100
question. You've
seasons.
got 100 years. Why would you care? You're going to be dead.
100 seasons.
If Netflix has learned anything from Dismal, it's you need some walking and talking. Let's have a little chat about it and have a little sit down over there, have coffee. Let's have a little look, see if we can see him yet. Let's have a little chat about it. And let's chat about our Chineseness.
Chineseness.
And that's a real word, Chinese.
Chineseness.
You get on ChatGPT and that's a real word, Chinese.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, how funny.
That's the bombshell that ends it, really, I think.
Oh.
What the aliens are right.
Unless you want me to drink more gin and be more insulting to more countries and more nations. As always, guys, listen, thanks. Unless there's anything else you want to waffle about. Freeze frame. I love it. You actually did it.
Taters looks actually frozen.
I know, that was good, wasn't it?
That was very good.
Oh, you was what? Oh, Amber, you was worried then. Oh, you was worried about little Tayters. You was all frozen.
I actually was. I was like, what's going on? Like, is he really frozen? For real?
I'm always frozen.
Yeah, I thought it was frozen about 2 hours ago, to be fair. Wouldn't you, Liz? Oh, thanks, guys.
Well,
No,
thank you.
that
It's
was
fun.
We did really, really, really pick the glitter and sweet corn out of that turd, didn't we?
Well, to be fair though, that's
thank you. Thank you for helping me make something out of nothing, actually, to be fair.
yeah, two and a bit hours when we've got nothing.
Yeah, two and a bit hours, and yeah, there was nothing to talk about.
I think the challenge is going to be next hogCAST because we know nothing's coming out between now and then. The stuff that is out is.
Oh, Mission Impossible's out before the next one.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So we've all got to go and see that. What?
No one's invited. No one's invited if they haven't seen it. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
That's cool.
That's your mission.
Go and see it.
You choose to accept it.
Yeah.
No, I was only joking. Listen, I ain't going to force you to go and see films you don't want to see.
I was already going to see it.
Cool, Randy. Nice. Anyway, we'll have a good one, everyone.
Stay cool.
What is the temperature there now?
I don't know, but it's going to be bloody hot. So
I'm showing it's only 106.
Oh. Wrap up.
You're
Keep
moaning.
warm. You got
But
a
it's
nice
only
big woolly
3.
jumper.
For me at least, growing up here, anything under 110 is
good.
Uncomfortably warm.
Oh.
It doesn't really get hot until 110 and then above. And then it's like opening up your oven and you know that heat hits your face and your the skin kind of draws back and from it and everything, right? It's like that.
It's like when you go to Vegas and you come out of the hotels and you go and the door goes and you walk out and it's like, oh, I'm in an oven now.
Yeah. You know what's weird?
Exactly
what's
like
weird
that.
What's weird about Vegas is it's humid, but it shouldn't be. So the reason for the humidity is all of the bodies on the sidewalk, all the people sweating and walking. It's gross. Yeah. And also there's, fountains and crap on the main street there, the main drag, but it's humid walking around there compared to Phoenix.
Yeah. But you walk around in the early hours of the morning because you've had that long haul flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to get outside. You got to do something outdoors.
And you're awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. You think, oh, I'll have a walk around the Bellagio. Yeah, I'll look at the shops. Yeah. Oh, I'll buy that ring tomorrow night when the shops open.
You don't really have to go outside in Vegas, which is cool. So
yes, just gamble. Okay then, guys.
Nice one.
No,
it was a good one.
We haven't got a freeze frame anymore because I won't be putting this. We can do anything. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Weekend.
Enjoyed that.
Thanks,
yeah,
Hog.
See you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good one.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.